Child sexual assault therapist Heidi Van Hooklen from the Center for Prevention of Abuse is joining me now to tell me a little bit about this topic. It's kind of a touchy thing. One of the first things that parents wonder is, when should you bring this up? Is there a certain age that you should worry about?
I think it's probably, I would say it's never too young necessarily, and I would say it's mainly most about the parent's comfort level, even with infants, that just starting out young, for the parents to convey to the child even at a young age that it's a comfortable topic for themselves, and even just for infants when they start kind of exploring their own bodies, that parents display or convey that sense of comfort themselves with it.
Are there certain things that you should or should not say to kids when you're trying to explain what sexual assault is?
I think just to educate kids in general about, and a lot of parents feel comfortable using the terms good touch and bad touch and give examples of those, that a lot of kids wouldn't understand obviously what sexual assault means when they're young. And so starting out using words like good touching and bad touching to explain the difference, I think, is most effective. With younger kids, we always say try to stay away from using words like no one should hurt you down there, just because I think kids get the wrong impression sometimes of what that would be like if someone did touch them, because maybe when they're young, if something happened, it wouldn't necessarily hurt. And so trying to kind of avoid those kinds of terms to convey that there might be injury, but just to stick with words like good touching and bad touching.
Okay. Are there certain warning signs that parents should look for if their child could be sexually assaulted?
Usually what we would tell parents is any change from their normal behavior is obviously something that you want to investigate further. That doesn't mean sexual assault has happened, but if a child that normally went to bed fine and slept fine through the night all of a sudden is having nightmares or extremely fearful to go to sleep, those kinds of abrupt changes in their personality or the way that they used to be on a daily basis, obviously then we would just ask parents, maybe ask questions about, is there something you're afraid of or anything going on, and just through questioning maybe find out, has something happened.
One of the things that parents ask me all the time is kids in preschool or young daycares, the kids, they just don't know what is appropriate and what isn't appropriate.
Sure.
So they might touch other kids or kids might touch
Sure.
them, and parents always are asking me, so when is it a sign that there's something really wrong going on, and when is it just kids being kids?
Sure. I think that's a huge concern for parents now that this topic is being talked about more often. It kind of sets us a little bit on edge in terms of what is normal and what's not. And what I would tell parents is that if a child's touching themselves or another child and they can't be redirected, if you have a talk with the child and say, it's not appropriate or it's not okay for you to touch yourself or that other child, and explain why, but they continue to do it and it's a repetitive issue and you can't distract them and get them involved in some other activity, that would definitely be more of a red flag.
Okay, Heidi, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Back to you.